Hello, everybody. I'm the horror movie guy, and since it's the season of Christmas, me and the
Horror movie uncle.
decided that we should do a top 10 horror movie Christmas movies ranking.
Yeah. So we have a list of 10 movies here that are horror movies that are set around Christmas. Some have a little bit more to do with Christmas than others. But yeah, so we're just going to go through them. I'll tell you a little bit about each one. I won't go into too much spoilers. We're not going
Yes.
to spoil these movies too hard, but we'll just let you know a little bit about them, and then we'll be ranking them as we go, and then we'll see what number one is. So at number 10, we have the movie ATM from 2012. This movie was directed by David Brooks and stars Alice Eve. And the basic plot of this is that a group of friends who are coming back from a Christmas party, they stop off at one of those ATM kiosks, and basically they get trapped inside by a guy who is very threatening to them. And it's Christmas Eve. They just came from a Christmas party. The guy is being very threatening to them. Anyway, it's an interesting movie. It's something I think it's worth watching, but it's at number 10. So, all right, at number 9, we have the movie P2 from 2007, directed by Frank Calhoun and written by Frank Calhoun, Gregory Levasseur, and Alexander Aja, and it stars Rachel Nichols and Wentworth Miller. Now, you guys might know Alexander Aja from the remake of Hills Have Eyes, and Rachel Nichols and Wentworth Miller are probably familiar faces to you guys. I don't know if you know them by name, but if you guys look them up, you'd probably know them. But anyway, the basic plot of P2 is that, again, Christmas Eve, Rachel Nichols' character is working late, and so she parked on the parking lot sub level 2, hence P2. So she has to go down from her office building down to P2 to get her car. And she gets attacked, and she wakes up in the security guard's office, who is played by Wentworth Miller. Now, I don't want to give anything else away, but you might be able to guess where it goes from there. Anyway, really good performances all around in this movie, and it's really interesting. Okay, number 8, Christmas Evil from 1980. This is written and directed by Lewis Jackson and stars Brandon Maggart. Now, this is kind of interesting because it predates Silent Night, Deadly Night by 4 years, and it features a killer Santa Claus. Uh, there was a huge controversy, obviously, about Silent Night, Deadly Night. Obviously, we're going to go into that a little bit more later on in
Yeah.
the list, but this movie came out with a little less controversy. Basically, what it is that there's the main character here who is working in a toy factory, and he has a naughty and nice list. And on Christmas Eve, he goes on a little bit of a rampage. And anyway, I don't want to give too much more away for this movie because I think that this is a movie that maybe not a lot of people have seen. So anyway, yeah, Christmas Evil from 1980. Number 7, Inside from 2007. It's written and directed by Alexandra Bustillo and Julian Maury, and it stars a bunch of French people, which I'm not going to butcher their names here. Anyway, this is about a pregnant woman on Christmas Eve has a visitor that keeps trying to get into her house. And I will say that this was part of what was called the new wave of French extreme horror movies that was happening in the mid 2000s. So if you think of movies like High Tension or Martyrs or Frontiers. This is very much in the same vein as that. So I would say I would recommend this one with caution for people who are maybe not too keen on extreme violence. This probably isn't the movie for you, but it's still very good. And I would say that it's very, very well made and very well acted.
Alright, so next we got Ginger Dead Man 2 Passion of the Crust, produced by Charles Band.
And yeah, so this has a bunch of cameos by people like Greg Nicotero and other people like that.
So the basic premise of this is original Ginger Dead Man murderer gets stuck in a cookie batter machine, and his like ashes get put into a gingerbread cookie.
Yeah.
And but in this one, it's the sequel, and this one is on a movie set. For a movie that is very similar to Puppet Masters.
Yeah, it is very much being self-aware. This is a full moon movie, obviously produced by Charles Band. It is a full moon movie, so this is being very meta and self-aware with Full Moon. There is a character in it that is very obviously supposed to be representative of Charles Band in the film, and it makes several references. If people know a lot of Full Moon movies, it makes several references to Full Moon movies. Anyway, it's really a lot of fun. If you guys have seen the first Ginger Dead Man movie, and maybe haven't seen this one, or have seen, some of the Evil Bong movies and maybe haven't seen the second Ginger Dead Man movie, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Ginger Dead Man 2, in my opinion, is personally better than the original.
Yeah, this is really the best one of the trilogy, the Ginger Dead Man trilogy.
Yeah, and warning, before you go watch Ginger Dead Man and Ginger Dead Man 2, just know, do not take it seriously at all.
It's silly.
It is supposed to be silly. People will end up hating this movie if they go in thinking it's gonna be like a Halloween Michael Myers, but like no, it's a gingerbread cookie that comes alive and kills.
Yeah, and also just to know, the only thing that it has to do with Christmas is that it's a gingerbread cookie. So that's what it has to do with Christmas. But that's close enough.
Yeah, it's close.
All right, so at number 5 we have Better Watch Out from 2016. Now, Better Watch Out was directed by Charles Peckover and stars Olivia DeJonge and Levi Miller. This is another one that I don't want to spoil too much for, because I think this is another one that maybe not a lot of people have seen. Basically what happens is that there's this babysitter and this kid who is maybe a little too old for a babysitter at this point, but there is maybe something happening at the house, that there are, intruders happening. But maybe something is not quite what it seems with these intruders. And I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
But just know that this is a really, really good one. And I think that this is one that's maybe not well known, especially for it only being from 2016. And so, yeah, check this one out.
Alright, next we got Silent Night, Deadly Night, directed by Charles E. Selner Jr.
Yeah, and starring Robert Brian Wilson as the Billy, the grown-up Billy.
Yeah. So, a quick little recap. So, basically what happens is, Billy is a kid in the beginning, and him and his family go to see his grandpa in a mental asylum or mental institution.
Is it a mental institution or is it an old folks home?
Well, he's crazy though.
Okay, I think it might be an old folks home. It's not really clear.
Yeah, but the grandpa is crazy, and he ends up saying
like really scary,
messed up,
creepy stuff to the
creepy
kid.
things to this, and this kid's like 6 or 7, and maybe even younger than that.
Yeah.
And he just basically says like, Santa, you have to be good, or Santa's gonna come and punish you. And basically, then what happens is, when they're driving back, they see a Santa Claus, like a guy dressed up as Santa Claus.
Yeah, not the real Santa.
Not real one. And he ends up killing both of the parents, or unaliving, because I don't know if we're allowed to say that on YouTube.
I think we can say it. I don't know.
But but ends up killing both of the parents except for Billy and his little brother. And then flash forward a couple years later, he's at an orphanage.
Yeah.
And
the orphanage, the folks at the orphanage, especially the one head nun, is very, very, very abusive and very much about punishment and everything.
And with all the things that happen to him, and then
he's very traumatized by the entire thing.
There's a lot of things that lead up to, like, the head nun makes him sit on Santa's lap, even though
it's very,
they know what happened.
Yeah.
And then what happens is, it flash forwards another 10 years. Billy's an adult now.
Yeah.
He's working at, like, a department store.
A toy store.
A toy store.
Yeah.
And he works in the back. And then he gets promoted, or, like, he gets put as the Santa Claus.
Yeah, the Santa Claus at the department store. So, kids are
gonna go and sit
on his lap and everything, and he has this very obviously traumatizing thing about Santa Claus.
And during all of it, he snaps and goes on a rampage.
And you can pretty much guess where it goes from there. We don't really want to spoil the ending. I think probably most of you have seen this one. I think. Okay, number 3.
We got
Gremlins, directed by Joe Dante, written by Chris Columbus, and produced by Steven Spielberg. Stars Zach Galligan, Phoebe Cates, Corey Feldman, and a bunch of other people that you've probably seen this movie.
Yeah.
I think of all the movies that we've talked about, most people have probably seen Gremlins. So if you haven't seen Gremlins, I don't know what you're doing on this
you need to watch
video, but if you haven't seen Gremlins, really briefly, a dad is getting a gift for his son, and he gets a little creature that's called a mogwai, and from a Chinese peddler type thing, and
from like a dark alley.
From a dark alley, like in the middle of nowhere type thing, and basically the pet has very specific rules about not getting it wet and not feeding it after midnight. And of course, the kid, being a kid, breaks those rules and ends up feeding him and getting him wet and everything. And the mogwai
starts to
multiply, and then those eventually turn into the gremlins. And they sort of take over the town and everything. And it's a lot of fun, you guys. This movie is so much fun.
It is.
It's just one of those movies that you watch the movie and you have a big smile on your face the entire time.
Really did. Also, we had the honor of seeing this in the theater a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And
that was the first time you'd seen it, isn't it?
No, I've seen it before.
Oh, okay.
That, but it was just fun to see in the theaters. And now at our number 2 spot is Krampus, 2015, directed by Michael Daughtry, and it stars Adam Scott, a bunch of other people.
Toni Collette, David Koechner.
All, like, so many good actors and actresses.
Yeah.
Basically what happens is there's a folk tale called Krampus, and basically it's just a bad version of Santa Claus who comes and, he basically what happens is that their town and house kind of get trapped in a snowstorm, and slowly people from the family start to go missing one by one, and they're getting attacked by these little, like, Christmas toys. And basically ends up Krampus is there, and he's coming for all these people.
He's sort of like a spirit.
Yeah.
Or like a demon.
Yeah.
That is sort of possessed or like imbibed with the energy that he wants people to have the Christmas spirit. Kind of. Anyway, it's a really, really good movie, you guys. It's really interesting that this movie only came out in 2015, and yet for some reason, it's a movie that still I think people are sleeping on this movie.
Like, you need to watch it. Like this, we've seen this movie probably since 2019 or something, and every year since then we've been watching it. It's a tradition in our family now. We watch Krampus, and we're gonna watch Krampus this Christmas.
And speaking of, by the way, probably of all the movies on this list, obviously Gremlins. It's a PG film, but Krampus is it's a PG 13, I think.
Not too much gore.
Not too much gore, violence, or anything. So it's definitely something that you can watch with most of the family, not the young kids, obviously, but
after they go to sleep.
But definitely. most of the family would be just fine. And I think, you know what, this is a movie that actually almost all of the family would enjoy this movie. Because I think that the kids would love it, the adults would love it, everything. So, number one is so obvious that you can't even, it's not even funny. It is
Black Christmas.
Black Christmas, the original Black Christmas from 1974.
Just kidding. It's the Black Christmas, the remake from 2009. That's gonna
no, absolutely not.
That's gonna be that's our number one. Thank you for I'm just messing with you guys.
It's the Black Christmas from 1974, not the one from 2019. We don't talk about that one. 1974, directed by Bob Clark, starring Olivia Hussey and Margot Kidder. Anyway, we did a whole video
review on that,
of this, but just really, really briefly, a sorority house is terrorized by an unknown assailant, and if you want to know more, you should watch the video.
Definitely watch that video. But yeah, what he said, sorority house gets terrorized by a killer, and it's just a great Christmas movie.
Yeah, you guys, if you haven't seen Black Christmas, the original Black Christmas, then seriously,
I mean, that's our number one pick.
It's a number one Christmas horror movie. It's one of the best horror movies of all time. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It is just absolutely fantastic. It is so, so good. If for whatever reason you have not watched the original 1974 Black Christmas, you need to watch it. It is the perfect horror movie to watch on Christmas, this time of year. It's, we're getting into Christmas weekend here. Find a way to watch it. I think you can watch it on most streaming services for, pretty cheaply. Figure out a way to watch it, you guys.
Definitely watch that movie before you watch any of the other ones on that list. I mean, probably my top picks that you should watch this year: Silent Night, Deadly Night, Ginger Dead Man, Krampus, Gremlins, and Black Christmas.
Yeah, I would say definitely watch Black Christmas, the original, Krampus. Silent Night, Deadly Night, Gremlins is always fun. Better watch out. There's a bunch. Go back through the list. Maybe we can put like a copy of the list in the description section.
Yeah, I can.
But yeah, a few honorable mentions that we just wanted to say. Jack Frost. The horror version of Jack Frost, not the Michael Keaton family film. Wind Chill from 2007, which is got an early performance from Emily Blunt. And the original Ginger Dead Man, we said Ginger Dead Man 2 in the list, but the original Ginger Dead Man is also one that we should mention.
It's a good one, but definitely won't make the top 10
Yeah.
of this list.
Also, if you want, the Black Christmas from 2006 is worth a watch.
It's
that one.
That's violent, so
yeah.
Don't watch with the little kids. Maybe not with the grandparents either, but definitely older teenagers and like 30-year-olds should watch that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's our list. Thank you for watching. A comment if you would place any of these higher or lower. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
Bye.